Well, good morning and good afternoon to some of you Bridge Dental Podcast listeners. This is Steve Kuza. We're back again, your resident dentist financial advisor, and I have Dr. Bianca Boji back for second episode or episode 2 for Bianca, your second go around with the Bridge Dental Podcast. Thank you for jumping back on with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be back. A lot's happened in 4 years. It's funny that it's been that long.
Yeah,
we were both just thinking it was 2.
Yeah, you and I were way off on timing. So It was end of 2020. We last spoke with Dr. Boji. For all of you, I do encourage you to understand her journey and part of what she's going to talk about today. You should definitely go back and check it out. It's a good drive time episode, and then listen to this one and see how she's progressed and built her career. We'll talk a little bit about that, but Bianca, for those of you who don't know her, she's in Detroit, Michigan, and she graduated from Wayne State University in downtown Detroit, and then did University of Detroit Mercy Dental School in downtown Detroit.
Yep, born and raised.
And you have 5 older brothers, right?
4 older, 1 younger.
4 older, 1 younger.
Yeah, you know most of them, or only Mark?
No, I know. I think I know all your brothers now.
All of them. Okay,
yeah.
Love it. Awesome. When you see them driving around in their matching cars.
Yeah, there you go. Which is fine with me. I love it. And so we're gonna jump back in, and the preview I'll give to everyone is you really dove into the cosmetic dentistry as an associate, and then decided to take that as an opportunity for entrepreneurship in dentistry, where you typically see an associate. They might do some cosmetic dentistry, but they'll open a dental practice and do hygiene, like your typical dental practice build.
Journey.
Yeah. And you went a different route, or I shouldn't say different. You went about it a different way. And let's discover that a little bit today. And so for the Bridge Dental Podcast listeners, strap in. Let's do a quick 2 to 4 year run here of what you've done. But take us back to that November of 2020, kind of where you were, and then we can kind of lead forward to today and introduce kind of the work you're doing now.
Yeah. So back then, I had just had my second daughter, and I was an associate at a practice in Ypsilanti, Michigan, diving full force into Invisalign treatment, learning how to basically build a business within a business as an associate. It was a really busy, well-run office that didn't offer Invisalign. And then I got to come in there and create my own niche within that practice. And that worked out really well. I learned a ton while I was there. And I was at that office for probably 3.5 years. But a lot's changed since November 2020 to now. Now I'm an associate at a practice in West Bloomfield. And then I opened a practice in Dearborn. Okay. The practice that I opened is more of a boutique specialty practice. So what I mean by that is we do Invisalign treatment, cosmetic treatment. My partner does implants, sedation, the whole 9 yards. We just don't offer regular hygiene appointments. So it's more so, you can almost look at it as a dental med spa. We don't offer any like med spa services. We actually have a med spa right next to us called Beauty Bar. We are a dental bar. And we just are a specialty dental office there. It's going great. It's really, really different concept. I haven't really seen many other offices like that. And we kind of just get to right what the patient needs there. And then aside from both of those, I'm doing a lot of Invisalign consulting and coaching with different practices. And that is a huge joy, very fulfilling. I help a local group that has 11 practices in Metro Detroit, and I run their entire Invisalign department, from training their doctors, training their staff, to doing all the treatment plans behind the scenes and helping them grow. And we just hit Platinum Plus, which is awesome. In the Invisalign world, it's just a high tier in Invisalign cases. And I also do a lot of individual consulting just with general dentists looking to improve their Invisalign practice, and just want to learn the nitty gritty of how to treatment plan their case as well, to give their patients the best treatment that they can. And so it's funny. I feel like I don't want to say it's my days have changed a lot. I'm clinical only like 2 days a week. Okay. And then the rest of it is almost virtual, like a lot of consulting and training and stuff like that, which I love. It's great, especially having 3 young kids.
Right. Yeah. It's like you can jump on a Zoom meeting there in the background and you can do some ClinChecks. So let's connect some dots. I want to put a bookmark in that for a moment because you're doing that nationally, correct?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we last spoke, I think I launched my consulting company is called Icon. My husband came up with a name for Invisalign Consulting. Thought it was just so clever. I just started the LLC the following month. It was December 2020. I started Icon LLC and then just kind of took off from there.
You see, for all the Bridge Dental podcast listeners, you come on the show and you just get
Dreams
so
come
inspired.
true.
It's so inspired. You just start your own company.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's follow this track record. And I don't have to sell. I mean, mostly dentists listen to this podcast. So I don't have to sell the why Invisalign or anything like that, or cosmetic treatment or making somebody smile look really good. And like, all right, so we understand that as dentists, that's what you guys want to make people feel really good and also healthy. So you come out of dental school and start to connect these dots on the cosmetic side. I'm sure you're doing general dentistry as well.
And I still do general now as well, too.
Okay. And
mostly Invisalign. I'm probably 70-30.
Okay. And so was it just something you enjoyed that you just decided that, hey, if I'm so passionate about this, and then it evolved into the business, or like, how did that thought process come around?
Yeah. Well, so it really happened just organically from a lot of colleagues reaching out to me to help them treatment plan their cases. I would always post on social media, like when I'm treatment planning my own cases. Sure. And I think people would watch, and I would post before and afters of my own cases. And then people reached out to ask me for help on their own cases, which I was always happy to help. And then it turned into a lot of people like got to the point where they would only approve their case if they had my eyes tracking it before they approved it. And then which was fine, but then they were like, all right, I feel bad. You have 3 kids, or at that time, 2 kids, but you have children, you have a job. I know you're busy, but I really want your help. Can I just pay you to get your eyes on this? And then it kind of just started like that. My husband was like, why don't you do it? Just create a business. Amran Hamoud, my partner in Dearborn, was like, just, why not? Why not? And so kind of just happened. And then started talking about it more and more with people. There's a lot of ways to get help with Invisalign, especially if you're a member of the American Academy of Clear Aligners. I'm on the board of that group. You know them very well. If you're a dentist doing Invisalign, there is no question you should be a member of it because there's so many resources. Sure. But what I have found is people really love the way I will help people is we'll jump on a Zoom call similar to this, and I will log on to their case. I'll share my screen and we go through it step by step, explaining all the details. And maybe it's just that way of doing it, I think really helps people get a lot out of it. So that's how it came.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm saying that's just how it became a business.
And you're doing, and now you're definitely invested in it. You're invested on the education side, on the consulting side. You're still, you are learning. You're on the board of the American Academy of Clear Aligners. And so when you decided to kind of go down this route, turn it into a business, and now it's not just a passion project, now it's an actual business, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel like, was there any hesitation on your end? Like, even when you were thinking about opening this new practice you guys opened, like, no, we should add some clinical, or was there that discussion, or was it, no, like, this is our vision for this, and like, let's go build this?
So the boutique practice is actually Amran's idea. And he was like gung ho. I know it's going to work. I think it's a great idea. We can team up. We complement each other very well because we both do things that the other doesn't. And it's things that we both are enjoying and are very passionate about. So it's nice to have basically full comprehensive care between the both of us. Sure. And I'm sure if you listen to the last podcast, you'll hear how nervous I always was to ever own anything. So once I was like, you know what, let's do it. Let's kind of like bet on ourselves, do our thing. That's kind of how it felt with Icon. And I'm so happy that we did. And it's going really well. We opened the practice in January of this year. So we are only like 6.5 months in. And I'm very thankful that we did it. Headed in the right direction.
So do you feel like, if I'm a dentist listening to this right now, and I'm an associate or I own a practice, regardless if I'm 1 year out or 10 years out of school and, well established, are you doing consulting on the Invisalign, like across the board, or people coming to you for different ClinCheck ideas and how to set these cases up?
Yeah. For all Invisalign cases, but then it's also bringing me into the practice and helping, like, outside of just the dentist and their treatment planning the case, helping their team support them. Essentially, wow. That's what I'm doing with the group practice. So I'll go in there and I'll train everyone, like the assistants, on how to place attachments, how to take proper scans, and I'll talk to the hygienist on, because it really is. It takes a team. It takes a team to do anything in dentistry, to do anything well. And it can't just be the doctor who is motivated for it. They have to get their team motivated behind them, because the doctor can't do it alone. And so I will train the hygienist on how to educate patients on malocclusion. What's cool, what I've learned, because it really was like, focus on Invisalign. But it's not, because since I've been working with that group, it really helps increase production across the board for general dentistry, because we're using health scans, which is we use an iTero scanner, take a health scan on our patients, and it's basically a 3D image of the patient's mouth in front of them. And it's not like we're using it just to talk about straightening their teeth. It's a visual to show the patient their entire mouth. So what it's really turned into is it helps increase production across the board, because we're treatment planning everything based off it, not just that. We're doing whatever the patient needs. So it really helps treat your patient comprehensively. That's always like the motto, is you want to treat your whole patient. We don't want to do one tooth dentistry. Dentistry has changed so much from that. It's gone so much far beyond to like really helping the person as a whole. And so, it's training from, like I said, the doctor, the assistant, the hygienist, and then also the front team on how to treatment plan it, how to talk to the patient about finances, the whole 9 yards.
So if I were kind of describing this icon, went from like, hey, let me show you the correct way to place implant, or not implants, to place the Invisalign, and to dial in the different, I guess.
The details, attachments, the IPR, all the details of the treatment.
So in doing that, though, it expanded to this communication from the entire team. And so icons become not only like this Invisalign consultation, but also a bigger consultation for teams on how to not sell Invisalign, but to position just the broader comprehensive picture for the patient. Okay.
To educate your patients and treat them comprehensively. But it definitely has, because then doctors are getting more confident in treatment planning their cases and doing more cases with Invisalign with that as part of the consulting. And then it turned into, okay, well, I want to get my team on board with what I'm doing. And that's just where that end of it came from. And another end of it too, like speaking of like the group that I work with, doing Invisalign well takes a lot of time and energy. And it's not something that you can just have you just get to it when you get to it, because patients are waiting on you, depending on you to get them their trays. They, they're excited for treatment. So it can't be something that, you leave to do like once a week or once a month. And that's where my focus being that end of it has really helped that group grow, because now they are able to grow and do all the other parts of businesses and growing more offices and everything else involved in owning 10, 11 practices and not having to spend time on doing that part of it. And I run that. So all staff come to me with, this guy called, this patient called with this problem. What do I do? A million, back and forth calls, which is fine, because that's my expertise is in that. But then it opens up the owner to do whatever else they want to do.
Sure. And so are you seeing that progress with the current group practice you're working in? So you've been able to take the pressure off of designing Invisalign cases in this sense, or maybe even the coaching and of the team, so they can focus on implants or whatever other piece of
growing the business big time. Yeah. They were at, I think, 9 offices when we started and 11 now. So
they're growing.
Yeah, they're growing. They're growing. And then it's nice they don't have to worry about this end of it.
What is the workload like for you in this, between Icon, the dental practices, and now you have the boutique practice? What's the workload like for you? How are you handling that? You're also a mom of 3, right? 3. So, you got that all going on. What's life like for you?
I was on a Zoom call yesterday morning from 6:30 to 8:30 in the morning before my kids woke up as my sitter walked in. I mean, I love it a lot more personally than being clinical 4 or 5 days a week like I used to. Sure. I'm clinical 2 days a week, sometimes 3. I like any business owner, it's busy. I'm busy doing things all the time, but it's on the schedule that I create, and I can still be around my kids.
Do you have a vision for growth within the practice to delegate, or do you have to hire staff for it yet? Or how do you feel like that progress is going?
I have, as it grows, what really it would turn into would be hiring a doctor to help the workload of possibly, I don't know. I haven't crossed that bridge yet.
Okay.
But it would probably be helping getting the cases done. But I don't think we're there yet.
Where do you think?
I don't think we're there yet.
Where are dentists coming to you from the consultation side of it? Where are they having, or where are you seeing some of the biggest issues from their planning of the case, or in general, maybe the communication of it?
Well, just like what kind of help do they need with it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the way Invisalign works is when you submit your records, they send you back a ClinCheck of what they propose to be the ideal treatment for the patient. It never is.
Invisalign, correct?
Invisalign. Invisalign sends you, the ClinCheck is like the treatment plan. So they send you a ClinCheck of what they think is the ideal treatment for the patient. And it's just based on some algorithms. And I mean, and it's never the right treatment plan to approve because it's just generated by, I don't know. It's not the ideal plan. And so to do it well, you want to modify that using 3D controls and designing the treatment plan, moving the teeth in a way that's realistic, that's predictable, and that's efficient. Because you don't want your patient in treatment for 2 years because they're not going to be compliant. Majority of patients getting Invisalign treatment are adults. A lot of children are getting it now too, which is awesome. But it's really hard for an adult, I would say, to be compliant wearing their trays 22 hours a day for 18 months to 24 months, which is traditionally braces take about that long. And if Invisalign isn't treatment planned properly, it's going to take that long and you're going to end with a poor result. So my expertise is really in that design process. I'm super OCD. I think all dentists are, but getting things perfect down to the 10th of a millimeter with the right attachments, all the right sequencing of treatment to get the result you want in a very efficient way. On average, I've done hundreds of cases, and on average, they finish in about 6 to 8 months, and patients are really happy. And that's what I'm teaching other people to do. And what's great is majority of the doctors that I've helped have now grown Invisalign a ton in their practices. Like they're hitting the next tier. Tiers with Invisalign they have different tiers from like silver to what they call diamond of how many cases you've done within a certain period of time. And it's awesome. I mean, a lot of doctors are just doing more and more cases now because when you're confident about the treatment that you're going to offer your patient, your confidence shows and patients can feel that and they trust you more. And I think that's how a lot of people are growing.
Do you feel like you've been a member of the American Academy of Clear Aligners, the AACA, for since the beginning, I believe, or for many years. 2018. 2018. So how's that progressed your skill level? It's not just an aligners course. I mean, this is beyond that now.
Oh, yeah.
Way beyond that. But talk a little bit about how it's helped you not only grow on the aligner side, but in the sense of being a business owner and in the communication with the group. Giving you additional ideas. So
Dr. Galler, he is CEO of the ACA, best Invisalign instructor out there. He does re-engage. He has his courses are all in Vegas, and I highly suggest that anyone take his courses. So he is my mentor, but along with him, it's really so many people in the AACA. The group has so many different avenues as far as practice, mentoring, marketing help, just talking about different clinical topics. So just yes, I'm on the board, but I also learn from people in the group every single day. Yeah. So it's almost like, you get to be a fly in the wall hearing, so many of these people are very, very successful, own a ton of practices, just do dentistry in different ways than the cookie cutter traditional way, which is nothing wrong with it, but it's so interesting to hear all the different things you can do within dentistry. It's such a cool field, especially if you want to change it and go into owning more practices and growing your practices, that the possibilities really are limitless, because I hear stories and about what people are doing, and it's things I didn't even consider as an option. And just opening my eyes to all the different ways you can take your career has been a huge help. I don't think I would have started Icon if I learned a ton just through all the courses I've taken through there, and just to, see what everyone's doing. I'm like, well, this could be a thing too.
Would you say, let's play the what if game. So what if you were not a member of the AACA? Where do you think your dentistry career would have gone?
Man, the AACA, if I tell you the series of events to how, oh my gosh, it's just wild. It all started when my Invisalign rep somehow got me into re-engage with Dr. Galler in 2018.
Okay.
I don't even know how these reps get like one spot, if they even get one. And he technically wasn't even my rep at the time. He just got transferred to a different territory. He's a great friend of mine, but he somehow snuck me in. And I went to the course, and then everything changed after that. Galler knows, like, the motto of that course, we even have t-shirts that say it, the course that changed everything. Couldn't be more true. So got into that course, and then, got asked to be on the board of the group, got to meet a lot of incredible people. And then through there is how I actually found the office that I worked at in Ypsilanti, which that opened a lot of doors. That taught me a whole bunch. I mean, I can't even imagine if I was, I don't know, just be a different world.
And which is interesting, because you did this as an associate. It wasn't like you owned a practice and you were looking for some peer-to-peer mentorship. You decided to take some of the risk as an associate of like, I'm going to try this group and go to the re-engage course and learn this skill. And you didn't probably know how it would evolve, but evolve my skill set is probably what was your original intention.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I love
absolutely.
I wouldn't call it an unintended consequence, but an unintended benefit. It was like, all right, now I love this, and let's keep expanding on it.
Yeah. I mean, I used to think when I was, I started doing Invisalign, I graduated dental school in 2016, started doing Invisalign right away, taking courses, doing whatever I could right away. Oh my gosh, spending hours per case treatment planning, hours and hours, till I was and I was asking everyone I knew in the field millions of questions. And I used to and I enjoyed it so much. I really loved I love ortho. I love Invisalign. And I used to think, how cool would it be if I can just do these ClinChecks and do these cases all day? Like, oh, that would be so fun to get to do that. And then didn't even consider getting to like create a business out of it. And yeah, it's just wild how things happen.
Are you still actively posting case results and different things like that via social media or wherever it might be?
Yes. A lot of it now too, though, I'm showing more behind the scenes on how I treatment plan the cases. Okay. But yes, sharing results, all that. And like you were saying, all of this as an associate. I love dentistry. I think I talk about it too much. I tell people all the time that it's such a great field to go in, men and women. You can really take your career however you want. And especially for women, having children, getting to, make your own schedule, do what you want to do. I was just talking to my niece about it. She's still in high school, got a long way to go, but it really is a great field. What'd you say?
Yeah, I said you planted the seed for her. So, she might go down that road. And what's really interesting about dentistry, this is like outsider perspective looking in, but it's like, 10 years ago, I'm being very overgeneral here, but it's drill and fill, kind of a sterile environment. And the dentistry niche that I'm in with you guys is fun. You guys are doing these insane cases, like helping clients or patients on another level, just beyond traditional dentistry. And we all need the traditional dentistry, but I'm saying beyond that, you're just helping provide so much more. It's now part of the oral health system, like the whole health body thing going on. It's just a different field, in my opinion. So if you feel the same way, or if you've experienced that, obviously, with your time in it. So
yeah, no, absolutely. With the ACA, I mean, so the whole ACA world is on WhatsApp. And there's just different chat rooms, basically forums for different topics. There's a cosmetic chat. What's so nice is it's a community where you can go on there and say, hey, this chipped on my patient. I'm not sure what to do. How do I fix it? Or what brand do I need to get for this? And you have tons of people at that moment responding to you, genuinely helping you, even calling you to walk you through it. And these are complete strangers anywhere in the country, actually anywhere in the world. Galler is international. So
and you get instant feedback right away.
Yeah. And I mean, that alone, I really gives people a lot of confidence because you have backup. Dentistry can be really lonely. And especially when you're a single practitioner in your office and you want someone to call on, and it's great to have that backup through the AACA.
What I've loved about your story, Bianca, is you started your dentistry business with no real estate, in a sense, right? Like you didn't have a practice setting. You created a business of service and value versus like a hard location.
From home. Usually thankful that all the dentists that I work with were okay with doing 9 p.m. Zoom calls after my kids went to sleep. I mean, still typically it's not then early in the morning, sometimes midday, but all over the place. And totally, I mean, my passion is in there, and it's really cool that I get to do that now.
Right, for sure. And we don't get super technical on this podcast, but I'd like to get a little bit technical with you. And so when you're doing the ClinChecks and helping design, is there some general philosophies that you kind of start with? Is there a foundation you start with when designing cases, or is it just so different with every smile, or treatment plan?
No, they're all different, but general philosophies is, for the most part, you want to get rid of all of the unwanted movements that the ClinCheck will give you, because then it makes it not predictable. And you want to just really hone in on what you're trying to achieve with that case and what you want your patient's teeth to look like, and clear out all the noise. And then by noise, I mean the movements that the software gives you. Like, so they will essentially set up teeth like what we call like a denture setup, meaning like ideal, yes, but not realistic and not predictable, and nothing that's actually going to happen, because they're not taking into consideration the age of the patient, the bone, where the patient started off, so many different factors that need to be there. So it's really getting rid of all the unwanted movements that you don't want. And then that makes your case move a lot quicker.
Can you give an example?
What is it?
Can you give an example to that in the sense of like when you get the design originally back, it gives you kind of your starting point, and is there like 40 trays that they want the client to have, but your efficiency is down to 20? I don't know, making that up.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll be, the patient will say, let's say we'll have a stable molar occlusion, and maybe something looks a little rotated, but it's in a stable, like puzzle piece, like good position with the opposing arch. But just because it looks a little rotated, they're going to go ahead and straighten that out. And so something like rotating a molar, very unpredictable unless you have the right attachments and you're doing it the right way, but still a very unpredictable movement with aligners. Doable, but like I said, you got to set it up the right way. And so that's something, for example, that like I'll look at it, I'm like, okay, well, if they have stable posterior occlusion, we don't need to go in there and change that. We need to focus on what's really going on here. And doing those types of changes really reduces your tray number. So on average, my case has been, the treatment plans that I'm approving have anywhere from like 11 to maybe 24 trays, unless it's something crazy. Okay. And this is quick. It's not, and then a lot of it. So let's say it's 24 trays, that's under 6 months, or just about 6 months of treatment. And of course, sometimes people need refinements. Refinements are when you need to order additional aligners for someone. It's not the end of the world. I think there used to be some taboo about it, like, oh my God, you need a refinement and you messed up in your first round. It's not the case. You have so many factors that go into it. Was your patient compliant? Did they, follow your instructions fully? Did they wear them 22 hours a day? And sometimes some teeth are just tricky to move. Canines get really tricky. They have the longest roots in the mouth. And so doing refinements is not the end of the world, basically. And I go into, so like when I work with someone, I'll help them treatment plan their case. and then all refinements that that person might need as well. So I don't just like leave you. I don't just help you, get to your case and approve it and buy. And then this guy, let's say, needs a refinement. So I help treatment plan that as well. But then there's a lot of skill in treatment planning the refinement as well, because I will make all the movements back down to 0 and just add specifically what I want, so that I can totally eliminate what they're sending me. And you want to just hone in what's the patient's chief complaint, and your goal is addressing their chief complaint and finishing them in a stable occlusion. As long as you do those two things, I mean, you're going to have a successful result with a happy patient.
Right. And a repeat client, they'll come back.
Totally.
Yeah. And the refinement's interesting, because I bet you there's more refinement in just the original design. There'd probably be much harder refinements. Your refinements are probably just to get the achievement, aligned, for lack of a better word. But
exactly.
I'll speak more to that.
Yeah. So a lot of it, like when I was saying, like they will they'll just plan all of these movements that when you actually like, it can be overwhelming, because if it's not something you're doing regularly, it's intimidating to move teeth, and the ClinCheck is giving you so much information, and it just, it's a little movie of like the teeth moving, and it looks like it's just going to happen. Trust the software, the technology knows what to do. I don't know what to do. But if you look at Invisalign as basically your lab, when you're the one in charge designing what you want for your patient, your perspective helps you really achieve what you're going for. Like that change in perspective helps you achieve your goal, because then you can really take control of your case and do what you want with it.
Bianca, are you crossing the bridge with or helping with ortho or perio? Are you working with any the specialists on that end too?
Not necessarily ortho, but perio. Yeah, we have specialists that work that will come to the offices and do perio surgeries and consults as needed for our patients. And definitely will discuss, like when it's a patient in Invisalign treatment, depending on what we're trying to do. Yeah, we definitely cross paths a lot.
Okay.
And it's nice to be able to do that and having someone in house.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what's funny about it is most people or most dentists are familiar with like a perio who will start their own consulting practice because they do specific perio work. And now I love to see what you've done in the associate side of it. And now you're it's not an associate role anymore. I mean, this is what your specialty is this specialty in the coaching and consulting. So it's cool to see how that evolved and kind of where you're taking it, so.
Yeah. And speaking of associates, a lot of it too, so it doesn't have to necessarily, it's not necessarily that I'm working just with the owner, and I can work with a practice to really help their associates' confidence. And then that's a huge other way to bring revenue into the practice. Because that's what I do with a lot of these offices, is because that's how I did it. I generated my own business at the office I was an associate at, just from bringing in tons of Invisalign cases that the office never did any before. And it's just when you have a group, 75% of the population has malocclusion. And when you're now trained in a treatment that can help those people, that especially at a place that didn't offer it before, it's like a gold mine,
Right.
and the owner doesn't have to be the one doing it. It can easily be the associate.
Right. And you get the revenue from that patient for life, right? I'm there now. I'm coming into that practice, right? Yes.
Because that's what happens a lot. Patients will come in, they'll see me just for Invisalign treatment. And by the end of their treatment, they're like, well, wait, I don't want to be done. Right. I want to still come and see you guys. And then they turn over into being a comprehensive patient of the practice. But a lot of it is having good systems in place. Patients like to be told what to do, how to do it. And that might sound like weird and controlling. I just mean they want someone who knows what they're doing when it comes to their treatment. I'm not
going to do my own ClinCheck. So yes, please tell me, please give me the treatment plan. And help me execute.
Exactly. And you can cover all the bases, cover all the complications. It's so funny. I had an Invisalign day at a Russellfield office on Monday. I was doing a consultation with this patient, went over everything, talked about her bite, talked about how I can help, what her goals are. And by the end, she's just staring at me, smiling. And I'm like, do you have any questions? She's like, it's just too easy. I don't get it. This just seems too simple. And I'm like, well, that's just because that's what we do here. Right. We just get everything going in order. We're not winging it.
If I'm a dentist listening to this and I want to enhance my skill set outside of the stuff that I could attend a re-engage conference, et cetera. So, but how could I work with you, or how do I get a hold of you, or what's the best way to work with Icon and start getting help on the consulting side with different ClinCheck or different patients?
Yeah, I really message me on Instagram. I mean, anyway, I'll give you all my contact info, but you can message me on Instagram, biancaboji.dds. Email me, bianca@bojidds.com.
Okay.
And
we'll put all that in the
reach
show
out.
notes too.
Just reach out, call me, text me. It doesn't matter. I'm available all the time. I am always happy to help people. My Invisalign rep will have, doctors reaching out to her for help. And then she'll call me with okay, what do I do with this situation? How do I help this guy? And then I'll in turn help those people that way too. So I'm always happy to help. I can talk about Invisalign all day. It's sad. It's sad.
I love the passion behind it. What is a routine day like for you? I mean, is there an ideal calendar? You just kind of running by the seat of your pants right now? Like, what does this all look like for you on a day to day?
So I'm always up early, whether it's from my kids or on my own, but I'm up early, typically on my own. Luckily, the kids are sleeping better now. My youngest is almost 2.
Right, there you go.
So I'm usually doing cases. I'm on my computer in the morning. I get up, I'm on my computer doing cases. And then my sitter will come, I will go and do a workout. And then I will either go to one of the offices that I'm training, or I'll go to my office in Dearborn. So that's one of the days. Typically my days are like that. The other option are the 2 days that I'm clinical. I basically am just waking up and hopefully getting a workout in at home in the basement before I go to the office. And then I'm in the office all day.
Okay. All right. So,
but I do love, I really do love the days when I'm not clinical and I'm able to just do my thing. I love getting a workout in, and I love getting to, be in and out of my house while my kids are home, go grocery shopping, see my kids, and then, I usually use my husband's real estate office as my own home away from home, find an empty room in the building and park there with my computer, do Zoom calls, get ClinChecks done, all of the above.
I love that. And so how is this going to evolve for you? So 4 years ago, I talked to you. You were definitely excited about Invisalign and your associateship and the relationship you had with the ACA. Now, 4 years later, we have 4 businesses for Bianca. So, all right. So how is this evolving, or where do you see it going?
So I love what I'm getting to do now, and I really just want to do more of it. Evolving into, I would love to just help more group offices. That is a huge, very, very fulfilling. Helping just more dentists. And I mean, I don't think I'll ever stop doing clinical dentistry, but it's tailored. It's really fine-tuned to just those couple days, maybe becoming 1.5. 2 is a sweet spot. So staying clinical, really doing what I'm doing and just spreading my reach, getting to help more people.
And your current office, new office you opened with Amran, what's the name of the office?
Dental Bar.
Dental Bar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a boutique firm, mostly cosmetic dentistry, and no regular treatment per se.
If it's helping to get to the cosmetic or whatever we're trying to do, yes, but not necessarily, I have a filling, I'm going to come see you to do my filling.
Gotcha. How long?
It's more so if it's helping us a longer goal to do whatever we're doing.
Sure. So as part of the overall case.
Exactly. Yes.
And how long has that been open?
Just 6 months. What's
the response like from the patient community?
People are loving it. Okay. We are in the same building, like I was saying, as Med Spa, called Beauty Bar, and they're a really, really talented med spa. They specialize in doing a lot of laser treatments, a lot of cool things. But what's nice is it's a lot of already cosmetically driven patients coming in, and that's becoming a patient population for us. And everyone's like, wow, it just makes sense to be able to do, your mouth is part of your beauty, a part of your face. And it's nice that we can do it all in one here. We can address everything.
Right. Yeah, we can go to laser hair removal, and I can get my teeth straightened out.
Exactly. It works out. Or they're getting facials, they're doing Botox. the whole 9 yards, and then they come on over. And then it's a lot of fun when we get to do like a combo case, like when you're really like, full facial aesthetics being involved.
Which is a big deal. So, the symmetry of someone's face, their smile, et cetera, and everything they're doing there. So,
yeah. What about you? I'm sure a lot's changed on your end in 4 years from episode 5. What episode is this?
Yeah. So we're in season 4 of the Bridge Dental podcast. We are as you know, thank you to all of your work. We're one of the main financial planning sponsors for the American Academy of Clear Aligners. So I have some bias, and then also
awesome.
I have some bias because my wife's your patient for Invisalign. So
we love her. We love getting to see her.
Yeah, no, we're doing good. We're doing good stuff here. We're driving in the dental world. We're trying to learn and evolve as you and your peers continue to evolve in your practices. How we can best help you guys. So it's as you guys are adapting, we're trying to adapt with you ahead of the scale on the financial side, right? And
I can tell because you're on top of it, and I think just how you're so like involved in the community, you're really at the forefront of what's going on. Because like you said earlier, dentistry is so different today than what it was 10 years ago.
Sure.
And I mean, if you're working with someone who's stuck in that mindset, how can you grow?
Yeah, I agree. And values are well aligned with the dentistry world. So I enjoy it. We love it. We're expanding in the dental world. And so it's been a great fit for us. We love working with people like you and just in general, having you share your knowledge on a podcast like this. It's just helpful for one. It kind of helps me cheat and learn about dentistry and get some insider information. But for all the people who are listening and will see this on your Instagram, et cetera, I'm sure it's a huge benefit, even just to follow you and watch your case consults. So continue doing what you're doing for sure. And I think what's an overarching theme that you probably don't even realize, or a bigger picture, if we take a step back and look at you, as I'm talking to you, I'm just trying to put it all together, this professional dentist, married kid, like you guys have so much going on. And every time I see you, it's put together. You're focused, you know what you want. You're very passionate about it. So to me, it's a very inspiring message to just kind of watch you do your work.
That means a lot. Thank you so much. I think if you try to just focus on what you enjoy and get rid of the noise, it helps.
I'm going to use that. Yeah, let's get rid of that noise. We'll do it all the way from Invisalign to my personal life.
It really applies to life because there's a lot of distractions out there and a lot of things that can stray you from what you're really trying to do. And I think you got to remind yourself too of like, I don't know, when you really achieve what you've been trying to do, like take a step back and like be happy, be proud of yourself. And then all of that plays into it. I mean, there's someone who we got to get on this podcast, by the way. Have you heard of, maybe he was on your Sonny Gill?
No, not, I think I've heard of him. Yeah.
Great guy. He came to my study club. So I have an AACA Invisalign Study Club in Novi, and he just has such a great message about just philosophies on, living your life, being a dentist, being happy, doing, focusing on reaching your goals and being successful. I think you guys would be a great match. I'm going to put you guys in touch.
Love that. I love that. And what final, first of all, I'll take any additional interviews, and I love diving into that world, but what would you like to leave with the dentists that are listening today? Maybe we get one random person that listens to it, but mostly dentists that are listening today.
I mean, I'm always here to help. If you're in a bind and you're stuck with a, posterior open bite or non-compliant patient, all of the things that we all deal with every single day, I'm always here to help. But really also just, you're always doing a better job than you realize. So give yourself some credit. Don't take life too seriously, especially dentistry. Not life or death.
For sure. And refinements are okay.
Refinements are okay. I do them too.
Well, Dr. Boji, Bianca, thank you for jumping on. I think, we'll continue maybe in another couple of years. We'll get you back on or sooner than later as you continue to evolve the dental bar, your icon practice. We'll put, for those of you listening, we'll put how to get in touch with Dr. Boji. Definitely give her a follow on Instagram. What's the handle again?
At biancaboji.dds.
Okay.
And then, I'll give you, anyone can reach out anytime. You can put my phone number in the notes. It's nice to know, for people to know that they can always like reach out if they need help.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I'm taking away from talking with you is it doesn't have to be lonely. Like what we could share some knowledge, peer-to-peer sharing, and help us all get better. And what you'll end up having is an industry that's working together, that's helping patients together versus a competitive industry, which could be sometimes too destructive, right?
Totally. There's enough patients to go around.
Right. Abundance mentality. So thank you again for doing this with me. And for all the Bridge Dental podcast listeners, we are adding some stuff. We will start posting these episodes on YouTube, so you can see us in the Zoom conference or video. And we will be relaunching our Instagram profile. That'll come out soon. And you could check me out at stevenkuza.com, or you could check just my personal IG page, which will have all the links to the Bridge Dental podcast. So, Bianca, thank you so much for jumping on. And
thank
we
you
appreciate
so much
your
for
time.
having me. I'm so excited to see where you're going to be on season 10. Like what's going on in the world.
Yeah, we'll see. I might be a dentist by season 10. We'll see.
I think you're a dentist by association already. I mean, you talk to more dentists than anyone.
I might be able to weasel my way through a ClinCheck, but we'll see.
Well, thank you again for having me.
Of course. And for all the Bridge Dental podcast listeners, thanks for listening, and rock on. We'll talk to you soon.